Statistically speaking, your bones will be creaking under the weight of power pure and great. We're not going to hurt you and never desert you unless you harm us first, then expect the worst. We are ninjas, we are brothers, we're united and we're strong. We are ninjas, we are turtles, we are heroes. Sing our song. The Legend of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Part 1, Chapter 38, Fear. Written and performed by Joseph Chambers and based on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Back at the warehouse, Leonardo was still pondering how to get up to the maintenance hatch. It struck him that he could use crates to build up a stack and get up there. He began to do this when further foot ninjas burst through the doors of the warehouse. "Oh, lucky me," Leonardo mumbled sarcastically. There were 6 of them, and they looked infuriated. Much like him, they had twin katanas in scabbards. 4 ninjas immediately grabbed him as he tried to climb the tower of wooden blocks, whilst another 2 immediately seized his swords. They marched him out of the warehouse, Leonardo struggling as they went, but then he relaxed as he realised they might be taking him to just where he wanted to go. Meanwhile, back in the lair, Michelangelo and Donatello seemed bewildered by their surroundings. They were sitting on the kitchen floor, surrounded by rubble and a rather terrified-looking Raphael and Master Splinter. To make everything weirder, they were covered in peanut butter, which Michelangelo began to lick from his arms in quite a disgusting manner. "I'm still confused as to exactly what happened," Donatello commented. Master Splinter tried to explain. "I think you and Michelangelo horrifically mutated as a result of exposure to that horrible fluid you got from the factory." "Yeah!" Mikey shouted, excited at understanding and letting his tongue retreat from his right arm back into his mouth. "Last thing I remember, me and Donnie were in the lab and Oh." Mikey's eyes rested on the floor. "Sorry for making you drop that thingy of Watson on the floor and turning us into doodahs." "I should have known this would have been your fault," Raphael scoffed. "Raphael!" Master Splinter said severely. "We all make mistakes. It is unfortunate that this one resulted in such destruction, but we must learn to forgive others for mere accidents." "What were you trying to tell me anyway?" Donatello inquired. "I was just gonna tell you that I'd just beaten your high score on that bust-a-move game." Donatello looked around at the wrecked kitchen units and crumbled entrance to his laboratory. "I don't quite think that news flash was worth the destruction," he replied sardonically. "That being said, it was useful that I got to experience the effects of that Saki chemical firsthand. I must make a note of it at once." On the surface and miles away, Leonardo was being dragged into the back of a van. His arms and legs were tied together, and his mouth had been gagged with a large piece of rope tied around his head. He couldn't see anything as the van had no windows, so he sat patiently and waited, knowing he could do nothing more for the time being. After a good 20 minutes, Leonardo was shoved out of the white van, pushed into a building and led up some weathered limestone steps to a large set of double wooden doors. He was thrust through these and found himself in a large cathedral-like room. It had a blood-red carpet rolled out to the centre of the room. It seemed to end at a golden plinth, and fixed on this was a backwards-facing golden throne. His ropes and gag were removed, and the throne was dramatically cast into a spotlight as it slowly rotated, whilst dark, warlike classical music blared out of speakers across the room. The throne had turned to reveal the sleek, silver and spiked armour of the Shredder. The armour was covered in more spikes than Leo could count, and he was wearing a sweeping red cape. His flaming red eyes glowed through his shiny metal mask like a cat's, watching carefully for a moment to strike the turtle-shaped mouse that had dared to disturb him. Leonardo was thrown onto his knees by the 2-foot ninjas that had him secured. The Shredder observed him like unpleasant dog muck on the end of his boot before getting up in his face and shouting, "Stand and show respect to your new master." Leonardo rose from the floor without missing a beat and yelled back, "You will never be my master! I would rather die and rot in hell than serve you!" "You are bold but naive," the Shredder snarled. "What have you done with April?" Leonardo spat. "I knew she would bring you here. Your compassion for other beings will only serve you as a weakness. I gave up my love and compassion many years ago." "Ha, well that doesn't surprise me," Leonardo mumbled. "Your friend is safe for now. I only wanted you here to get at your pathetic rat father." "Leave him alone! He has done nothing wrong!" "Like I said, naive." Leonardo ignored this and tried to stay firm. "Tell me where April is right now!" "Or what?" growled the Shredder. His 2-foot blades swiftly extended outwards with a rough clink as he rose slowly from his chair. Leonardo fell into stance and hardened his face. The Shredder just laughed. It wasn't cold or acted. It was a genuine feeling of deep pleasure and merriment. Leonardo lunged at the Shredder, who jumped left and forward rolled, leaving Leonardo unable to stop himself in time to smash headfirst into the golden throne. Slightly dizzy and head throbbing, Leonardo tried to continue. He clambered to his feet and, with his vision still half bleary, was skillfully avoiding every blow and kick the Shredder had to offer. Much like his father, he was well adapted to using his other senses to determine his opponent's movements whilst half blinded. Leonardo went to unsheath his swords and remembered too late that they had been confiscated. This moment of thought cost him dearly as the Shredder slashed his 2-foot blades across Leonardo's neck and fluorescent blood oozed from Leo's wounds. He gave a horrendous yell of pain before smacking down to the floor. He tried to get up and continue fighting, but was now too weak and nearly threw up trying to stay conscious. "Take him to the cells," the Shredder demanded to 2 nearby ninjas, who obediently did so.